Have you ever wondered if a simple coin hiding in your change could secretly be worth more than a brand new house, a luxury car, or even enough money to completely change your life overnight? Imagine reaching into your pocket, pulling out what looks like an ordinary Washington quarter dollar, only to discover that you're holding a piece of history so rare, so valuable, that collectors around the world would fight to get their hands on it. These coins aren't just metal, they are treasures, sleeping giants of wealth and history, waiting for the right person to uncover them. And tonight, right here on Rare Coin Secrets USA, I'm going to reveal the top 10 Washington quarter dollar rare coins in today's auction market. Coins that are shocking collectors and investors with values climbing higher and higher, turning ordinary people into treasure keepers of American history. Stay with me, because the very first coin on our list is one you would never expect to hold such power, and by the end of this video, you'll realize just how close you are to holding a fortune in your very own hands. So don't blink, don't scroll, and don't even think about leaving, because what you're about to discover might just change the way you look at every single coin you see for the rest of your life. Now, let's begin with a coin that doesn't just whisper history, it shouts it. The 1965 Washington quarter with no mint mark. At first glance, you might mistake it for an everyday quarter, the kind you've seen thousands of times, tossed across counters and jingling in pockets. But this coin holds secrets that only the sharpest eyes and the most passionate collectors know how to uncover. The year 1965 was no ordinary year in American coinage. It was a turning point, a year of crisis and change. The U.S. Mint had just made one of the most controversial decisions in modern coin history. It removed silver from circulating coins. That's right, before 1965, quarters were made of 90% silver. But starting in '65, the government switched to a copper-nickel-clad composition. This change sent shockwaves through the coin world. And here's the twist. Not every coin followed the rules. Mistakes happened. Missteps occurred. And in the midst of all that chaos, the 1965 no-mint mark Washington quarter was born. So what makes this coin unique? Unlike quarters struck in other years, this coin doesn't bear the usual mint mark that tells us where it was made. That tiny detail, or rather that tiny absence, transforms this coin from ordinary pocket change into an artifact of mystery. Collectors know that missing mint marks often signal something unusual, something unintended, something rare. And rarity in the coin world means demand, and demand means value. Now, let's talk about its condition. The example we're looking at today is in very fine condition, sharp details, clear strike, and only minimal wear. That alone would make it attractive to collectors, but combined with the historical significance and the missing mint mark, this coin moves from attractive to absolutely irresistible. And here comes the moment you've been waiting for, the market value. Brace yourself, because this is not a small number. The 1965 no mint marks quarter in very fine condition is currently valued at a staggering $105,000. Yes, you heard that correctly, 105,000 US dollars. This isn't a typo, this isn't a fantasy, this is the reality of the auction market today. Imagine that kind of money wrapped up in a single quarter, a piece of pocket change transformed into a life-changing treasure. And let me tell you something even more powerful. That price, it's not staying still. The value of this coin is climbing steadily, day by day, auction by auction, as more and more collectors realize just how rare this piece truly is. Owning a coin like this is like holding onto a treasure chest that keeps filling itself. Wait long enough and the value could rise to heights that we can only dream of today. Don't take this as fiction. This is the truth. This coin is a powerhouse, and its demand is only getting hotter. For collectors, here's a tip. Don't just focus on the date. Pay attention to the details, the missing mint mark, the condition, the strike. These are the details that transform an ordinary quarter into a legend. If you're ever in doubt about what's in your pocket change or coin collection, have it checked. Because the difference between a regular quarter and a treasure worth 6 figures could be staring you right in the face. And here's my conclusion about this extraordinary piece. The 1965 no mint mark quarter isn't just a coin. It's a symbol of history, a reminder of change, and above all, a hidden fortune. Whoever holds this coin isn't just holding money, they're holding power, prestige, and a treasure chest of the American story itself. That's why collectors are chasing it. That's why the value is soaring, and that's why it deserves the #1 spot on our list today. And remember, friends, here on Rare Coin Secrets USA, you're not just watching another coin video. You're joining a family that brings you the most faithful, trustful, and freshly updated knowledge every single day. Stay with me as we uncover the next coin on this list, because if you thought 105,000 was shocking, you haven't seen anything yet. Now, friends, if you thought the 1965 no mint mark quarter was something extraordinary, get ready to have your mind blown yet again, because our next coin takes the idea of don't judge a book by its cover to a level you won't believe. We're talking about the 1983 D Washington quarter, a coin that, on the surface, might look dull, dirty, and unremarkable. You might see it in a handful of change and think, this one's been through too many pockets, too many cash registers, too many years. But here's the shocking truth. This is one of those rare cases where a coin's outward appearance hides a story of value so powerful, so shocking, that collectors worldwide are on the hunt for it like treasure seekers chasing gold. Let's step back for a moment into history. The year 1983 was a fascinating time for American coinage. The U.S. Mint was pushing out millions upon millions of quarters, and the Denver Mint, marked with that bold D, was no exception. But something unusual happened with certain 1983 D quarters. Not every coin that rolled off those presses came out perfectly. Errors, misstrikes, planche issues, and the rush of mass production gave rise to pieces that simply don't follow the rules. Among those, the dirty look circulated examples stand out, because while most collectors chase shiny, pristine, uncirculated coins, these weathered, battle-scarred survivors carry a mystery and value of their own. Now, what makes the 1983 D quarter such a hidden treasure? First, its scarcity and high-quality conditions. Most of the 1983 quarters that left the Denver Mint were heavily used in circulation. Coin rolls, vending machines, cash drawers, they lived hard lives. By the time collectors started realizing the significance of the 83 D quarter, most examples were worn down, tossed aside, and never saved in mint state. That means even a circulated one with a dirty look, yes, the kind you might dismiss as pocket change, becomes a gem in the eyes of those who know its story. The composition of this coin is the typical post-1965 clad copper nickel, but don't let that fool you into thinking it's ordinary. The real magic lies in the historical context. 1983 was a year when the Mint didn't issue official mint sets. That means collectors had very few opportunities to pull and preserve pristine examples. What circulated is what survived. And survival is exactly why today, finding a 1983 D quarter in collectible demand, even in dirty, circulated condition, is like finding a diamond in the rough. And here comes the part that will leave you speechless. Despite its worn appearance, despite the fact that it may look unimpressive to an untrained eye, this 1983 D Washington quarter in circulated dirty look condition is currently valued in today's auction market at an astonishing $73,000. That's right, $73,000 for a coin that many people would have brushed off as spare change. Think about that for a second. A coin you might have overlooked at a gas station or in your pocket change could in reality be a fortune, a treasure chest hiding in plain sight. And let me emphasize, this isn't hype, this isn't fiction. The prices are real, confirmed, and current in today's marketplace. Collectors are fighting for these coins because they know the supply is dwindling and the demand is climbing higher and higher with every passing year. Owning one is like owning a ticket into a secret world where history, rarity, and fortune collide. And believe me, the market value of this coin isn't slowing down. Day by day, auction by auction, its worth grows stronger, climbing like a rocket with no sign of stopping. Now, for collectors out there, here's a tip you must remember. Do not underestimate circulated coins. While shiny, uncirculated pieces will always draw attention, coins like the 1983 D prove that circulated treasures can sometimes outshine even the most flawless examples. If you ever come across a quarter with that dirty look, don't dismiss it. Study it. Have it checked. That worn piece of metal might just be the bridge between you and a small fortune. So let me conclude this segment with one powerful truth. The 1983 D Washington quarter in circulated dirty look condition isn't just a coin. It's proof that treasures don't always sparkle on the surface. Sometimes the most valuable things hide under a layer of age, waiting for someone with sharp eyes and a faithful heart to uncover their worth. Whoever owns one of these isn't just holding a coin, They're holding a legacy, a treasure chest, and a powerful piece of American history that's only going to grow more valuable with time. And remember, here at Rare Coin Secrets USA, we bring you the most faithful, trustworthy, and freshly updated discoveries every single day. Stay with me because the next coin on this list is going to make your jaw drop even further. If you thought a dirty circulated quarter could reach 73,000, just wait until you see what's coming next. Now, buckle in, because the third coin on our list takes us deeper into the mystery of Washington quarters. And this one is a master of disguise. The 1978 Washington quarter with no mint mark, carrying a soft gray shade in very fine condition, is not just another piece of currency. It is a hidden treasure, a sleeping fortune, a guardian of American history that looks ordinary only until you really look closer. Let's step back into the late 1970s. America was changing. The decade had been filled with challenges, economic struggles, rising costs, and a nation finding its footing again after turbulent times. In the middle of it all, the U.S. Mint kept producing the coins that fueled daily life, the coins that passed from hand to hand at grocery stores, diners, gas stations, and corner shops. But among those millions of coins struck in 1978, a few carried a secret that time would later reveal: the absence of a mint mark. Mint marks are small, but they're powerful. They tell us where a coin was born, which U.S. mint facility gave it life. In 1978, the majority of quarters were struck with their respective mint marks, proudly carrying their heritage. But not this one. This no mint mark quarter stands apart, an unspoken whisper of rarity in a sea of common change. That tiny detail, the missing mint mark, is what transforms this coin from ordinary currency into a legend among collectors. Now, let's look at its condition. This coin comes to us in very fine condition, with a distinct gray shade that adds an almost ghostly aura to its presence. The details of Washington's portrait remain sharp. The eagle on the reverse still carries strength, yet it also shows the gentle signs of circulation. It's that perfect balance between preservation and age that collectors find so irresistible. It feels alive, as though it has traveled through time, survived decades, and still holds its beauty. So why is it so rare? Here's the truth. 1978 quarters are common, but this one without a mint mark is a different story altogether. It's the missteps, the unexpected variations, and the subtle errors that drive collectors into a frenzy. When you combine rarity with condition and then add the unusual gray tone that makes this piece stand out visually, what you get is a coin that isn't just collectible, it's unforgettable. And now, the moment you've been waiting for, the value. Friends, hold on to your seats because this coin, the 1978 no mint mark Washington quarter in very fine condition with its striking gray shade, is commanding an astonishing $90,000 in today's auction market. That's right, $90,000 for a single quarter. Not a fantasy number, not a guess. This is the real, current market value, and it's climbing higher every day. Think about that for a moment. A piece of everyday change, a gray-shaded coin that could easily slip unnoticed into a handful of quarters, is worth more than what most people earn in a year. This isn't just money, this is treasure. And what makes it even more thrilling is that it's out there. These coins exist. They may be tucked away in jars, hiding in old dressers, or sitting quietly in someone's pocket right now, waiting for the day someone recognizes their true worth. And let me tell you something important. This is not the kind of value that stays stagnant. The market for these coins is alive, it's breathing, and it's pushing these prices upward like a wave of demand that refuses to stop. Collectors know how rare this is. Investors know how powerful it is. And the competition for ownership is fierce. The truth is simple. This coin is treasure, and treasures grow more valuable with time. So what's the lesson here for collectors? Never overlook the small details. Always check the mint mark, or in this case, the absence of one. Pay attention to the shade, the condition, the signs that make one coin different from the rest. Because what looks like just another quarter to most people could be your golden ticket to a fortune. And here's my conclusion. The 1978 no mint mark quarter in very fine condition is more than just a coin. It's a story, a survivor, a rare gem born in an era when nobody was paying attention to these details. Today, it stands as a guardian of wealth, a living reminder that even the smallest differences can create treasures beyond imagination. Whoever owns this coin is holding not just $90,000 in value, but a piece of American legacy that will only grow stronger, more powerful, and more sought after with time. And as always, friends, here on Rare Coin Secrets USA, we bring you the most faithful, most trustworthy, and freshest updates every single day. If you thought a gray-shaded 1978 quarter could shake your expectations with a $90,000 value, just wait until we uncover the next coin, because the treasures on this list are only getting bigger, bolder, and more shocking as we move forward. Stay with me. The journey is only beginning. As we move forward on this journey through America's hidden treasures, our next coin is one that will surprise you with its unusual beauty and shocking value. The 1974 Washington quarter with no mint mark, showing a mysterious brown layer in very fine condition, is not just a collectible. It is a treasure chest disguised as everyday change. Now, let's rewind the clock to 1974. America was at a crossroads. The country was dealing with political upheaval, an energy crisis, and changing times that shook the confidence of many. And yet, through it all, the humble Washington quarter continued its steady role as a workhorse of the economy. Millions were minted, and they passed through countless hands every single day. But hidden within those millions were a few rare survivors, quarters with no mint mark, coins that would later rise from obscurity to become legends among collectors. The mint mark, as we know, is that tiny symbol that reveals where a coin was struck. Denver, Philadelphia, San Francisco. Each facility has its identity. But the 1974 no mint mark quarter is different. It lacks that small but vital detail, and in the world of coins, such absences speak volumes. They signal rarity. They signal an error or anomaly that the everyday person would miss, but that a trained collector immediately recognizes as extraordinary. What makes this coin even more fascinating is its brown layer, a tone that gives it an aged, almost antique appearance. This isn't the dull gray of a typical circulated coin. This is a patina that adds character, depth, and distinction. Collectors treasure these natural layers of color because they tell a story. They speak of time, of history, of journeys across decades of use. And when that brown-toned surface is paired with the absence of a mint mark, the coin transforms into something far more than ordinary currency. It becomes art, history, and wealth wrapped into one. The example we are spotlighting today is in very fine condition. That means it still retains sharp details. Washington's portrait is defined. The eagle on the reverse is crisp, and the wear, though present, only enhances the character of the piece. A coin in this condition is rare enough, but when you add the no mint mark factor and the unique brown layer, you step into the realm of treasures few people will ever lay eyes on. And now for the moment that will send chills down your spine, the current market value. Friends, the 1974 no mint mark quarter with its distinctive brown layer in very fine condition is today valued at an extraordinary $85,000. Yes, $85,000. This isn't hype. This isn't just speculation. This is the real, current value in the auction world right now. And let me tell you something, the demand is only growing. Collectors and investors alike are chasing these rare varieties, and as competition heats up, the prices are climbing like a rocket with no sign of slowing down. Think about that for just a second. An ordinary-looking quarter, one that blends into pocket change, can secretly be worth enough to transform someone's life overnight. It is the perfect example of why every coin deserves a second look. Why every quarter in your hand might just be a hidden treasure waiting to be discovered. Don't take this lightly. What I'm telling you is absolute truth. This coin is a fortune in disguise, and it is only getting more valuable with time. Now, for collectors who are listening closely, here's a tip. Pay attention to unusual coloring and toning. That brown layer you see on a coin is not damage. It can often be a sign of age and originality that makes a coin more desirable. Pair that with the absence of a mint mark, and you may be staring at something truly priceless. Don't let these details pass you by. Coins like this are not just investments. They are pieces of history that carry stories from one generation to the next. So let me conclude with this. The 1974 no mint mark Washington quarter with its rich brown layer is more than a coin. It's a time traveler, a survivor, and a hidden fortune. Its value of $85,000 makes it not just money, but a treasure chest of American heritage. Whoever holds this coin holds wealth, history, and a piece of power that collectors all over the world are desperate to own. And remember, my friends, here at Rare Coin Secrets USA, we are your faithful and trusted guide into this incredible world of hidden treasures. We bring you fresh updates every single day, keeping you ahead of the game in the hunt for rare and valuable coins. And let me promise you this, the next coin on our list is going to raise the bar even higher. Stay with me because the treasure hunt is far from over. Now, my friends, if you've been with me since the start of this journey, you already know that not every coin is what it seems. And our next discovery, the 1972 Washington quarter with no mint mark, proves this once again. At first glance, it may look like a simple quarter from the early 70s. But don't be fooled. This coin is a treasure in disguise, a hidden fortune that collectors are chasing with fierce determination. Let's step back into history. The year was 1972. America was still deep in the heart of cultural change. The Vietnam War was winding down. New technologies were reshaping daily life, and the country was moving into a new era. Yet through it all, coins remained the heartbeat of the economy. The Washington quarter, first introduced in 1932, had become one of the most recognized and dependable coins in American history. By 1972, millions upon millions of them had been minted. And yet, in the flood of ordinary quarters, a handful emerged that broke the rules. This is where the 1972 no mint mark quarter steps into the spotlight. You see, mint marks are like birth certificates for coins. They tell us where the coin was created: Denver, Philadelphia, San Francisco. But in rare cases, that mark simply isn't there. The absence of a mint mark isn't a small thing, it's monumental. It turns an ordinary quarter into an anomaly, and anomalies are what collectors live for. Now, let's consider its condition. The example before us today is in very fine condition. That means the details are still strong. Washington's hair shows definition. The eagle's feathers remain clear, and the wear is light enough to let its beauty shine through. This is not a beat-up piece of pocket change. It's a survivor, preserved through decades, carrying with it the weight of time and the power of rarity. So what makes this coin such a hidden treasure? It's the combination of rarity, condition, and historical context. Millions of 1972 quarters are out there, but without a mint mark, that's the needle in the haystack, the diamond hidden in the rough. And in today's collector market, the demand for anomalies like this has skyrocketed. Every collector dreams of owning the coin that others overlooked, the one that hides in plain sight but carries unimaginable value. And here comes the moment that will stop you in your tracks. The 1972 no mint mark Washington quarter in very fine condition is currently valued at a staggering $82,500 in today's auction market. Yes, $82,500 US dollars. And make no mistake, that price is current, real, and climbing. This is not speculation, not hype. This is treasure, plain and simple. Imagine holding a quarter that, to most people, looks like change. But to the right collector, it's wealth beyond imagination. The truth is, this coin is more than money. It is a legacy. Its value is increasing steadily, day after day, because rarity never loses its shine. In fact, as time passes and fewer examples surface, demand only grows stronger. This coin is not just an investment. It's a rising star in the world of numismatics, a treasure chest that appreciates in value with every passing year. For collectors, here's your tip. Never assume that a coin without a mint mark is ordinary. Always check the date, the details, the condition. Because hidden in that small difference could be the key to unlocking a fortune. Coins like the 1972 no mint mark quarter remind us that the tiniest details can hold the biggest rewards. So let me conclude this treasure's story. The 1972 no mint mark quarter in very fine condition isn't just a coin. It's a survivor of history, a rare jewel in the crown of American coinage, and a fortune waiting in the palm of your hand. With a current value of $82,500, it proves that treasures don't always sparkle with gold or silver. Sometimes, they hide in everyday change, waiting for the right person to recognize their worth. Whoever owns this coin owns not just money, but power, prestige, and a piece of American history that will only grow more valuable over time. And don't forget, here at Rare Coin Secrets USA, we are your trusted, faithful source of daily discoveries in the world of rare coins. We bring you the freshest updates and the most powerful truths because every coin has a story, and every story could lead to a treasure. And trust me, if you thought $82,500 was mind-blowing, wait until you see what's coming next. Now, treasure hunters, the deeper we go, the more incredible the discoveries become. And our next coin, the 1984 P Washington quarter, may shock you for one simple reason. It's hiding in plain sight. To most people, this coin is just another quarter from the 1980s, familiar, common, and forgettable. But in truth, this coin is a silent powerhouse, and the reason lies in its mint mark, its history, and its incredible rarity. Let's take a step back into 1984. It was a year of change, technology on the rise, and America moving boldly into the future. The U.S. Mint was busy keeping up with demand, striking millions of coins at its facilities. But here's where the story takes a twist. The Philadelphia Mint, identified by its P mint mark, was producing coins in huge numbers, but very few collectors at the time thought to set them aside. You see, the Mint did not issue official sets for every year in the early 1980s, which meant coins like the 1984 P were almost exclusively destined for circulation. And once they entered the world, they lived hard lives. Vending machines, parking meters, cash drawers. Most were worn down beyond recognition. That's why the 1984 P quarter in fine condition is such a shock to collectors today. Finding one that has survived decades with sharp detail and preservation is like finding a treasure chest buried beneath sand. The Philadelphia Mint coins of this era simply were not saved in large numbers, and when you combine that scarcity with collector demand, the result is explosive. Now, let's talk about its composition and appearance. By this point in history, quarters had long since lost their silver content. The 1984 P is made of copper nickel clad, a practical composition for circulation but not typically for value. But here's the beauty. In numismatics, it's not the metal that determines worth, it's the rarity, the history, and the survival rate. And in that sense, this coin is pure treasure. Its fine condition means it retains crisp features. Washington's profile is bold, the eagle on the reverse is defined, and while there are signs of circulation, they only add to its authenticity. So why is it rare? Because almost no one in 1984 was saving these quarters. Collectors weren't watching closely, and as a result, finding one today in collectible condition is like striking gold. And believe me, collectors know it. They are chasing these coins aggressively, and that demand has driven the value into jaw-dropping territory. And now, here's the part that will leave you breathless. The 1984 P Washington quarter in fine condition is currently valued at an incredible $70,000 in today's auction market. Yes, $70,000 for what looks like an ordinary piece of pocket change. But there is nothing ordinary about this coin. This is not hype, not fantasy. This is reality, and the market proves it again and again. Think about that. A quarter minted at Philadelphia, ignored for decades, now commands a price so high it could change your life overnight. That is the magic of rare coins. They remind us that wealth doesn't always glitter in gold bars or sparkle in diamonds. Sometimes, it's sitting quietly in a jar of change, waiting for the right pair of eyes to see it for what it really is. And here's the truth. This price isn't standing still. The market for rare Washington quarters is on fire. Every auction, every private sale pushes the value upward. Collectors know how rare these coins are, and as time goes on, the chances of finding one diminish. The demand is growing, the supply is shrinking, and that is the perfect recipe for soaring prices. Owning one is like holding onto a treasure map. Its value will only increase with time. For collectors listening right now, here's your tip. Never underestimate Philadelphia Mint coins of the early 1980s. They may look common, but the truth is, survivors in fine condition are exceptionally rare. Always look closely. Always check the mint mark. Because the difference between an ordinary coin and a $70,000 treasure could be as small as the letter P. So let me conclude this treasure story with one powerful truth. The 1984 P Washington quarter in fine condition is more than a coin. It is a hidden giant of value, a survivor of time, and a financial powerhouse disguised as everyday change. With a current value of $70,000, it proves that even the most ordinary-looking coins can carry fortunes beyond belief. Whoever owns this coin owns not just money, but a rare piece of American history that will only grow more powerful with every passing year. And don't forget, friends, here at Rare Coin Secrets USA, we bring you fresh updates, trustworthy insights, and faithful knowledge every single day. Stay with me because if you thought $70,000 was astonishing, the next coin on our list is about to raise the stakes even higher. The treasure hunt is far from over. Now, treasure hunters, the deeper we go into this list, the more shocking the discoveries become. Our next stop takes us to the 1979 D Washington quarter, a coin that, on the surface, seems like just another quarter from the late 70s, but once again, appearances deceive. In truth, this piece of American history is a hidden fortune, a treasure chest waiting to be opened, and its story will leave you stunned. Let's step back into 1979. America was stepping into a new era. Technology was advancing, the dollar was shifting in strength, and the mint was working tirelessly to meet the demands of the public. At the Denver Mint, marked with the familiar D, millions of quarters were struck and sent into circulation. These coins jingled in pockets, clattered in vending machines, and passed through countless hands. But as always, when millions are struck, there are some that stand apart. The 1979 D quarter, in very fine condition, is one of those rare survivors. Most of these coins were used hard, worn down until their details blurred. But finding one in very fine condition, with its features still sharp and its surfaces still carrying that strength of preservation, is like stumbling upon a treasure buried beneath decades of ordinary change. Washington's portrait remains strong. The eagle's wings on the reverse are still defined, and the coin shows a balance between circulation and preservation that collectors dream of. So what makes this coin so rare and so valuable? It's not just the mint mark, though the D from Denver does carry weight. It's the survival factor. The 1979 D was minted in large numbers, but collectors weren't paying attention to saving them at the time. That means that today, 4 decades later, finding one in this condition is a challenge that only a few lucky treasure seekers will achieve. Add to that the rising demand for Washington quarters in recent years, and suddenly, this once overlooked coin becomes a star in the auction world. And here is the part you've been waiting for, the market value. Friends, prepare yourselves, because the 1979 D Washington quarter in very fine condition is currently valued at a jaw-dropping $90,000. Yes, $90,000 for a coin most people would have brushed off as pocket change. This isn't hype. This isn't a fairy tale. This is today's reality in the world of numismatics, and it's sending shockwaves through the collecting community. Think about that. A single quarter from 1979, one that you might have seen 1,000 times before without giving it a second thought, is worth more than many people's yearly salaries. And this isn't just about money, this is about treasure. Owning a coin like this means holding power, wealth, and a piece of American history that grows more valuable by the day. And let me tell you something important. The value of this coin isn't standing still. The demand is soaring. Collectors, chasing it. Investors are eyeing it. Auction prices are climbing. Every day, the 1979 D in high condition becomes harder to find, and every day, its value grows stronger. It's like holding a rising treasure chest in your hands. Wait long enough and you'll watch it fill itself with even greater wealth. Don't take this as fantasy, take it as fact. For collectors listening right now, here's a tip. Always examine your Denver Mint quarters from the late 1970s with care. Look for condition. Look for detail. Look for strength of strike. Because while millions may exist, only a handful survive in the kind of condition that makes collectors willing to pay small fortunes. And if you're lucky enough to find one, you've discovered not just a coin, but a financial powerhouse. So let me close this treasure story with one undeniable truth. The 1979 D Washington quarter, in very fine condition, is more than a coin. It is a survivor, a guardian of history, and a treasure chest valued at $90,000 today. Whoever holds this coin isn't just holding metal. They're holding a fortune, a legacy, and a piece of America's numismatic crown. And remember, here at Rare Coin Secrets USA, we bring you the truth, the trust, and the freshest discoveries every single day. Stay with me because if you thought $90,000 for a quarter was breathtaking, the next coin on this list is about to take us even deeper into the world of unimaginable treasures. Treasure hunters, our journey now brings us to a coin that proves beauty doesn't always shine with brightness. Sometimes, true beauty hides beneath age, wear, and the marks of time. The 1981p Washington quarter, with its beautiful old look and dirty condition, may not sparkle at first glance. But don't let appearances deceive you. This coin is a diamond in disguise, a treasure cloaked in ordinary clothing, and its value will absolutely shock you. Let's travel back to 1981. America was entering a decade of change. The beginning of the 1980s was filled with new energy, new leadership, and new technology. But at the Philadelphia Mint, the work remained the same, producing millions of quarters to keep the economy running. The P mint mark identified their origin, but few people thought much about saving them. Why would they? They looked common, they sounded common, and they were everywhere. But here's the twist. Because so few collectors were saving these coins at the time, finding one today in any desirable condition is far rarer than people realize. The 1981p was struck in huge numbers, but nearly all of them went straight into circulation. Vending machines, toll booths, parking meters, and pockets. They were workhorses, not collectibles. And that is exactly what makes surviving examples so valuable today. Now, let's look at this particular treasure. This coin carries a beautiful old look with a dirty surface, something most people might dismiss as wear or damage. But collectors know the truth. That aged look, that patina of circulation, tells a story. It shows the journey the coin has taken, the years it has survived, the countless hands it has passed through. Far from lowering its value, this old look makes it stand out. It's authentic, it's historic, and it's irreplaceable. And its condition? Fine condition, which in numismatics means it still carries strong details. Washington's profile is sharp enough to see. The eagle's wings on the reverse are clear, and while circulation marks are visible, the coin remains a strong survivor. In the world of the 1981p quarter, this is a prize worth fighting for. So why is it so rare? Because Philadelphia Mint coins from this era were overwhelmingly ignored. Collectors focused on proof sets and other issues, leaving coins like this to be forgotten in circulation. That neglect is what created today's scarcity. And scarcity is the foundation of treasure. Now, prepare yourself, because here comes the number that will make your heart race. The 1981p Washington quarter in fine condition, with its beautiful old dirty look, is currently valued at a staggering $70,000 in today's auction market. Yes, $70,500. For a coin that most people would overlook as pocket change, collectors are paying fortunes. This is the reality of numismatics today. Think about that for just a second. A coin that looks old or dirty to the untrained eye is actually a treasure chest worth more than most people would ever imagine. This is why every coin deserves a second look. This is why the world of coin collecting is filled with suspense, mystery, and rewards that can change lives overnight. And let me emphasize something very important. This price is not staying still. Day by day, collectors are realizing how rare these coins are. Auction houses are reporting record-breaking bids. Investors are chasing after every surviving example. The demand is surging, the supply is shrinking, and the value of this coin is climbing like a rocket. Whoever owns it holds a fortune that is growing stronger every single day. Don't take this as fiction. I am telling you the truth. For collectors, here's your tip. Don't judge a coin by how clean or shiny it looks. Sometimes, that aged, dirty patina is the very thing that makes it unique, authentic, and desirable. Always check the mint mark, the date, and the overall condition, because what looks like a forgotten old coin could, in reality, be the key to your treasure chest. So here is the conclusion. The 1981p Washington quarter, in fine condition, with its old dirty look, is not just a coin. It is a survivor of time, a storyteller of history, and a treasure valued at $7,500. Whoever owns it doesn't just own money. They own prestige, they own power, and they own a treasure chest of American heritage. And as always, my friends, here on Rare Coin Secrets USA, we bring you faithful truth, trustworthy updates, and fresh discoveries every single day. Stay with me, because the next coin in our countdown will take us even further into the world of hidden fortunes. If you thought 70 fountain was jaw-dropping, the next treasure will leave you absolutely speechless. Treasure hunters, the deeper we journey into the vault of America's rarest quarters, the more the story takes us into uncharted waters. And now, with coin number 9, we arrive at a piece that hides one of the greatest surprises in the world of numismatics, the 1980D Washington quarter. At first glance, it's just another coin from the dawn of the 1980s. But hidden inside this small piece of copper and nickel is a fortune so powerful, it could make even seasoned collectors catch their breath. Let's go back to 1980. America was facing inflation, gas lines, and major global changes. Yet the Denver Mint pressed on, producing millions of quarters stamped with the D Mint mark. These coins were everywhere, jiggling in pockets, stacking in cash registers, clattering into arcade machines. They were part of daily American life. And because they seemed so ordinary, nobody thought to save them. That decision, made by millions of people at the time, is exactly what makes the surviving rare examples priceless today. The 1980 D quarter in very fine condition is one of those survivors. And let me tell you, finding one is like striking a hidden vein of gold in a mountain you thought had already been mined dry. Its details remain sharp, Washington's profile still firm, the eagle's wings on the reverse still commanding attention. Very fine condition for this date means the coin escaped decades of wear that destroyed most of its brothers and sisters. It means this coin fought time itself and won. What makes this coin so unique is not just its preservation, but its scarcity in high condition. The Denver Mint struck countless coins in 1980, yes, but very few of them escaped the grind of circulation. Most were worn down until they were practically unrecognizable. And in today's collector market, condition is king. The better the condition, the rarer the coin, and the rarer the coin, the higher the demand. This 1980D is at the very top of that chain. And now, my friends, prepare yourself for the value reveal. The 1980D Washington quarter in very fine condition is commanding an unbelievable $78,800 in today's auction market. Yes, $78,800 for a coin you could have once spent on a candy bar or dropped in a parking meter. This isn't hype. This isn't fantasy. This is the shocking truth about rare American coins today. Think of what that means. A single coin, overlooked by millions, ignored for decades, is now worth a fortune that could change your life overnight. Holding this coin is like holding a vault key to wealth itself. And here's the kicker. Its value isn't just sitting still, it's climbing. The market for rare quarters is hotter than ever. Auction after auction is breaking records. Collectors are chasing these treasures with everything they've got, and the competition is driving prices into the stratosphere. Don't take this as a story, take it as the truth. The treasure is real. For collectors listening right now, here's your tip. Pay attention to the D Mint mark quarters from the 1980s. They look common, but when preserved in strong condition, they're anything but ordinary. Always check your change, your old collections, your family's keepsakes. You never know when the 1980D might appear, and if it does, you'll be holding more than a coin. You'll be holding a treasure chest, a fortune disguised as copper nickel, a piece of history worth nearly $80,000. So let me close this chapter with a truth that should electrify every collector's heart. The 1980D Washington quarter in very fine condition is not just a survivor. It is a king among coins, a vault of wealth in your pocket, and a treasure commanding $78,800 today, a number that is only destined to rise as the years go by. Whoever owns it doesn't just have a coin. They have a crown jewel of American numismatics. And as always, remember, here on Rare Coin Secrets USA, we are faithful, trustful, and dedicated to bringing you the freshest, most powerful updates every single day. Stay tuned, because of the final coin on our list, coin number 10, is about to bring this entire treasure hunt to an earth-shaking finale you will never forget. And now, treasure hunters, we've arrived at the final chapter of today's extraordinary journey. Coin number 10, a coin that defies all expectations. Because unlike the others we've seen, this one is not from the mid-20th century, not even from the early 80s. No, this one comes from a much later year. And that's what makes it so shocking. The 1994 P. Washington quarter. At first, it looks too young to be worth anything special. After all, millions of these quarters from the 1990s are still floating around in circulation today. Some of you watching may even have a few in your pocket right now. But don't be fooled. What appears common on the surface is, in reality, a rare jewel, one of the most overlooked treasures in modern numismatics. Let's rewind to 1994. The world was buzzing with change. Technology, music, and culture were transforming the decade. But at the Philadelphia Mint, the mission remained steady: strike millions of quarters for circulation. And they did, with the P mint mark stamped proudly beneath Washington's profile. To the public, these coins were just pocket change. No one was setting them aside. No one thought the 1994 P would ever become a collectible. And that is exactly why, 30 years later, it is so rare in very fine condition. This particular coin, preserved in very fine condition, is a true survivor. Washington's portrait still carries definition. The eagle's wings on the reverse still spread with authority, and the coin has escaped the brutal wear that destroyed most of its generation. The irony is breathtaking. The very fact that nobody thought to save them back in the 90s is what makes this coin so valuable today. Now, let's reveal its hidden power. My friends, the 1994 P Washington quarter in very fine condition is currently valued at an astonishing $60,000 in today's auction market. That's right. $60,000 for a coin that you might dismiss as too modern or too common. This is not hype. This is the truth, and it is shaking the coin collecting world to its core. Imagine holding such a treasure. A coin from just 3 decades ago, a coin that once jingled unnoticed in pockets, is now worth a fortune that could change a life. This isn't just collecting anymore, this is treasure hunting in its purest form. And the best part? The story of the 1994 P is still being written. With every passing year, as more coins vanish, get damaged, or are forgotten, the rarity of surviving examples grows sharper and their value climbs higher. This coin is not standing still. It's climbing and climbing fast. For collectors, here's your golden tip. Never underestimate modern quarters. Don't let their age trick you into thinking they're worthless. The 1994 P proves that even coins from the recent past can hold unimaginable value when found in the right condition. Always check, always look closely, because treasures like this are hiding where you least expect them. So let me close this grand finale with one undeniable truth. The 1994 P Washington quarter is more than a coin. It is a modern legend, a reminder that treasure isn't only buried in the distant past, but also hidden in plain sight, right in the coins we once spent without a second thought. Valued today at $60,000 and climbing with every passing day, this coin is a crown jewel for any collector lucky enough to possess it. And that brings us to the end of today's journey through the top 10 rare Washington quarters, shaking today's auction market. But let me tell you this, the world of rare coins doesn't end here. Every day, new treasures are discovered. Every day, values rise. And every day, fortunes are hiding in plain sight, waiting to be uncovered. So, if you're ready to keep treasure hunting with me, hit that subscribe button right now. Because here on Rare Coin Secrets USA, we bring you faithful, trustworthy, and fresh updates every single day. This is the channel where collectors become treasure hunters, and where knowledge turns into fortune. And listen closely. The next video I have for you will reveal another set of coins climbing in value so fast they could be the next great treasures of America. You do not want to miss it. So stay with me, treasure hunters. Your next discovery may be just a click away.